Welcome to MBA Solutions. I am Manjunath, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Business Administration at VVC Mysuru. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please press the bell icon and subscribe for more videos on managerial economics and management and organizational behavior. In this video, let us try and understand what is controlling. Controlling is one of the functions of management and plays an important role for the better performance of the organization. Let us understand the definition and meaning of controlling with an example. A student decides to score 70% marks in an examination. He performs and writes the examination and he scores 60%. There is a deviation of 10% marks in his performance. Now he rectifies and analyzes why this deviation happened and takes necessary steps to avoid this deviation in the next examination. Hence, controlling is a process where we compare actual performance with the established standards. Why we do this? We do this to take necessary actions to correct deviations. In our example, the student set a standard of 70% marks in an examination. When the results are announced, his score was 60%, and there is a 10% deviation in his performance. This 10% deviation has to be analyzed and understood to take necessary actions in the next examination. Even in organizations, they will have established standards which are known as benchmarks. These standards are set based on vision, objectives of the organization. All the employees in the organization perform based on these set standards. Later, we compare the actual performance of every employee with the set standards to check deviations. If there are any deviations or errors or mistakes, we take necessary action to avoid those in the future performances. How it is useful to managers? Managers can ensure that all the resources in the organization are utilized in an effective and efficient way. Why we have to use the resources in an effective and efficient way is to accomplish the objectives of the organization. In our example, now the students can think why there is a deviation of 10%. Which resource has not been utilized properly, be it time resource, be it material resource. In the next examination, if you make certain changes and utilize those resources in an effective way, he could achieve the target of 70% marks. This controlling always alerts managers on the existing problems, and it always allows him to take necessary actions for the problems. In controlling, we just discuss about controlling the activities of the organization. Here we will not discuss about controlling the employees in an organization. Now let us move on to the process of controlling. Process of controlling starts with the first step called establishment of standards. Companies set standards based on mission, vision, and objectives of the organization. It also considers the strengths and weaknesses, opportunities, and challenges which organization has. Based on these criteria or parameters, organization sets standards. These standards could be individual based, team based, or organization based. Let us take an example. If a sales executive in an organization gets a target of generating 2 lakh revenue in a month, this is the standard set by the higher authority or the manager for the specific sales executives. These standards could be of two types. One is qualitative standard, the other one is quantitative standards. Qualitative standards are those which are difficult to bring in the form of a number. For example, goodwill, employee morale, etc. Quantitative standards, in the other hand, can be bought in the form of number very easily, like profit, sales, etc. In our example, the 2 lakh rupees of revenue is a quantitative standard. Once the standards are set, then we measure the actual performance of the individuals. In our example, we measure the actual performance of that specific sales executive through sales reports. The sales report of that month will be checked and evaluated. When you evaluate the performance of the individuals, the evaluating parameters should be appropriate. If the parameters are not correct, then it is very difficult to measure the performance in a better way. When we compare the actual performance with the set standard, then we'll come to know about the deviations. In our example, if the sales report of that specific sales executive says that he has generated a revenue of 1 lakh rupee in this month, then when we compare his actual performance with the set standard, there is a deviation of 1 lakh rupees revenue. Then this deviation is identified. Based on that, we take corrective actions. These corrective action may be in the form of training the sales executive or in the form of motivating him through rewards and incentives. But based on the comparison of actual performance with the standard, we take corrective actions. These corrective actions acts as a feedback to the establishment of standard step. These corrective actions can be rectified and seen whether there is any modification required to set the standards. Now let us move on to the next concept called types of control. There are majorly three types of control. In that, first one is feedback control, which is also known as historical or post control. In the year 2008 and 9, the whole world underwent a recession. During that period, lot of organizations suffered, lot of organizations were under loss. After recession got over, these organizations can sit back and discuss with their employees the next action plan for the recession that is going to occur in future. Now, the organization has to depend on the information of the past data or the past activity. The past activity in 2008 and 9, that is recession, will give a lot of inputs to frame necessary actions for the future recession. Hence, feedback control is the process where we gather information about a completed activity. We evaluate that information which we have gathered. Later, we take necessary steps to improve if the same situation occurs in future. Since we are dependent on the past data for this kind of control, we call this historical or post control. The next one is concurrent control, which is also known as real time or steering control. At present, the automobile industry is under an economic downtrend. If the companies sit and analyze the reasons for downtrend and if they can have an action plan for the present problem where they can reduce the damages in future, this would be a great idea. Hence, concurrent control talks about the immediate problem and it allows the managers to analyze and take necessary steps before any major damage has been done. Since we depend on present data and present situation, We call this real-time or steering control. Automobile industry, if they sit now and check and analyze the problem before some major damage happens, they can rectify their issues and they can bring back the organization to a better position. Next, we will move on to the final control type, that is feed forward control, which is also known as predictive control. If you come to know that after 1 week there will be a tsunami, now you have 1 week time to take necessary action and steps so that you will not get damaged by tsunami. This 1 week is well sufficient for you to take proper necessary action framework. In feed forward control, we always anticipate the future problems, and based on that problem anticipation, we take action before the problem occurs. Here we try to predict the future problems. Hence, we predict the future problems. This type of control mechanism is also known as predictive control. In the next video, we will discuss the factors influencing effective control and the importance of controlling. Thank you for watching the video.